Hey, welcome back to the Purple Mafia YouTube page. This will be our first ever, like you could say, kind of a game review, a miniature game review, preseason game review. The Vikings defeat the Houston Texans 20-10. Kind of like, we were actually doing Purple Mafia back in 2010 still, but in only podcast form. This is the first year we're coming back to YouTube, and again, hope you like the new hat. It's a good fit, right, for this show. So, yes, J.J. McCarthy with his second debut with the Minnesota Vikings. He looked solid at times. He showed his mobility, overthrew some guys out there as well. Didn't have a spectacular game, but at the same time, how many tricks are you going to show in a preseason game? And obviously, you got to be careful. This type of thing. I mean, you don't want the same thing to happen that happened last season. That was so devastating. McCarthy looked all exciting and promising. Next thing you know, he had pain in his knee. And then next thing you know after that, it's a meniscus. And then it's the kind of meniscus where it's like you got to say, see you next year, kid. Better luck next time, kid. That type of thing. J.J. McCarthy officially 4 for 7 for only 30 yards. But was, again, pretty efficient and did show some mobility at times, running for a first down on a good block by our guy Brian O'Neill on the right side. Very nice move there. Brett Ripien, only 1 of 4. Doesn't look like much of anything you'd get too excited about. Brett Ripien's probably destined to be a coach at some point in the future, a quarterback coach or something like that. Who knows? Maybe he's an offensive coordinator someday. Brosmer had some nice moments. He's the only guy that actually officially threw a touchdown pass. That was exciting, I guess you could say. We appreciated that. For the most part, the completion was to Miles Price, who's also, of course, probably fighting for his NFL living. And good for him. Good luck to him and all of that. We'll see what happens. Guys, at least at bare minimum, trying to impress going forward, I'm sure. Trying to impress, if it's not this team, but other teams as well. At least try to get to a practice squad one way or another. Brosmer, who knows? Maybe he's going to end up being the third guy. Max Brosmer. Sam Howell looked a heck of a lot better than a lot of us were fearing in the training camp and the practices. He looked jittery. He looked like he was making a hell of a lot of mistakes, throwing interceptions like you wouldn't believe. His sack numbers were ridiculous. I talked about that on the recent Purple Mafia that came out just last Sunday, the annual Tying Up Loose Ends, which I annoyingly misspelled the first time I put it out there. I don't know. It's like I was just kind of in a hurry to publish the episode, so my deep apologies for that nonsense. But Sam Howell, officially 11 of 13 for 105 yards. Looked very solid out there. Some nice decision-making, no turnovers. Not one single quarterback threw an interception, though unfortunately Max Brosmer, former Gopher, of course, did have a fumble loss. So that's unfortunate along the way. So it was kind of a little bit disappointing. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll at least be a third string. Maybe somebody I think you could definitely sneak into the practice squad without worrying too much. He was officially 5 of 8. And again, he did lead that touchdown that ended up getting the Vikings the victory long term. Obviously, the young star of the Houston Texans was not playing in the game, so that's fine, understandable. Of course, you want to get McCarthy some action, get him going a little bit in a game situation, even though it's more of a scrimmage, if anything. Guys trying to stay healthy, but of course, as you get further and further down the lineup, guys trying to make the team. Will Reichert made both of his field goals, including a 48-yard long, and made both of his extra points. We appreciate that. Ty Felton impressed me a little bit, I thought. He made some nice he made a nice gunner play, stopping the return, and also had 2 kick returns for 36 yards. Like, not spectacular, but the kickoffs just aren't what they used to be at the end of the day. But Ty Felton impressed me a little bit. Again, so he's going to at least be a factor in special teams, I think, in his rookie year, and then hope to build more and more as the season progresses and his career progresses. Defensively, the Vikings very impressive. Again, only giving up 10 total points. Gabriel Murphy with a sack and a half. Bo Richter rolls right off your tongue with a half a sack, sharing one with our guy Gabriel Murphy. Sorry, Travis Bell. Well, yep, Travis Bell. He rang the bell, I guess, at least one time with 1 total tackle. Jeff Okudah had some nice moments, and of course denying some completions as well. with 1 total tackle. So like what Jeff Okudah is doing out there, Mekhi Blackman, lots of action, was tested a bit as well with 5 tackles. So that's something to think about. But at the same time, Mekhi Blackman, it's wonderful to have him back out there healthy, and can't wait to see what he can do going forward. Dallas Turner, 1 single tackle, but again, getting guys off the field as soon as possible, and other guys getting kind of back into the action, including Mekhi Blackman, who had played a lick of football until training camp here this year. Obviously, first day of training camp last year with the ACL, after a pretty good rookie year, like I talked about again on the last episode of Purple Mafia. Of course, primarily this is a podcast, so do check that out on Spotify, Apple, and other possible, you could say YouTube Music. You could give it right here on the YouTube page here, Purple Mafia Show. And of course, again, it's simply Purple Mafia when you look up the actual podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Those are kind of the primary deals going forward. But yes, the defense looks impressive. And of course, you're not going to show too many secrets, of course, this in a preseason game. So don't get too up or down one way or another. As long as individual players and individual groups look the part, then you feel okay. Like the quarterbacks, I thought generally looked good. Obviously, and the main guy in that's the other thing. The main guy in JJ McCarthy. Well, he's another guy I hadn't seen game action until last preseason in the single preseason game. So, it is what it is. He wasn't anything that you go, oh my God, that was unbelievable. Last year kind of was like that, but this year again, nothing super spectacular necessarily. But there was the good play down the field to Jordan Addison, who, of course, will be suspended for 3 games, unfortunately. An 18-yard play that helped get the Vikings a key first down and eventually a field goal on the opening drive of the game, which is what J.J. McCarthy basically did out there. But it was nice to see him out there. Obviously, nice to see the 2 guys. Obviously, it's nice to see Jordan Addison. He still gets to play in the preseason and practice and all that, but he's going to miss the first 3 games due to the off-field event last year. So it's unfortunate. But yes, McCarthy, promising, of course. I mean, you get to see little glimpses of what he's going to be, and we'll get to see more and more going forward as to what McCarthy will bring to the Minnesota Vikings. So heading forward, looking forward to this, exciting, optimistic to say the least. And, well, this is kind of where we're at this point. We'll be back next week, and of course, we'll try to keep please try to keep up with the podcast if you can. This was probably a little bit longer video than I normally was going to probably do, just after a little single preseason game. But I get wordy being a podcaster, so my apologies. Thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends about the Purple Mafia Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, right here on YouTube. Please do, please do. Talk to you next time.